So I got out this envelope the other day because it's 9 by 12 to print on my new 9 by 12 jelly page. And I remembered that I had gotten these resume mailing envelopes at the secondhand shop. They were like brand new, still in the package. There's 29 of them. They're beautiful. Check these things out. I'm certainly not mailing any resumes out anytime soon. So I thought, why not make an extra large envelope journal? I'm super excited. I will use this as an example. We'll look at this a little bit closer later. But this is an envelope journal made out of envelopes. It's very basic and very fun, and you all can do it right from home yourself. So we'll look at this maybe a little bit closer later, but it's a really fun project. I had so much fun making these. I made a few of them and gave them to some friends at a little event I went to. But yeah, check that out. Isn't that great? So we're going to make a really big one. So first step is I want to tea stain this because I just don't like that bright white. And even if I did like jelly plate them, I mean, I don't like the white around the edges. So I'd like to show you how I tea stain. I'm going to just tea stain all of these. My only issue is that's got glue on it. I'm sure that that's going to come off in the process, so it really doesn't matter. I can just glue those down afterwards. I was going to glue them, but I'm like, that as soon as that hits the warm water, that's going to open back up, so I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to do some of my white paper, my 24-pound paper, because I need some extra tea stain sheets. So basically I'm just going to boil some water in this nice big pan and throw in, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tea bags. Let it get nice and dark. I'm going to layer the papers in, and I'm going to try this. I saw one gal do it, and I just found this recently on Amazon. It's this big, it's like a plastic doily or placemat or something. So I cut it in half, and she laid it in between some papers, and the paper had that design on it from the tea stain. So I thought I would try that with a couple of those. So I'm going to probably let that stay overnight. I'll dry them and then I'll be back. So I waited for the water to cool off a little bit. There's about 1.5 inches of water in there, and I just layered the envelopes and the paper with some of the vinyl placemats in between. I also sprinkled some instant espresso on some of the layers. It leaves some nice dark spots. I really like that effect. I wished I had done a little bit more of it actually. Yeah. I actually left them only in there for, most of them in there for about 20 minutes, and then left some of them in overnight just to see what the difference would be. And they were a little bit darker, the ones I left overnight, but not so much. And I also see how I left those tea bags in there. I wanted to see if that would make a dark spot on there, and it did. It was pretty cool. Here are my dyed tea stained papers. I'm really happy with how they came out. The one on the top you can see was the one that I had that plastic placemat, and it's not very distinct, but I like it. It's just, you know, a little bit of a shadow there. I found that where I let the tea puddle on the pages, like this second one, it just left a dark ring, and that's nice. So I did leave that on a few different envelopes. Overall, this one I had 2 plates set on top to kind of hold it down, and yeah, I'm happy with these. And then remember, I sprinkled the espresso coffee, and that's that paper right there. So there's a variation, and I mean, that's the way it should be. So I'm going to show you how you make the envelope journal. Make sure that they're glued, and then just fold it in half with right sides together, no matter what size envelope you're using. It's very basic. You all can do this at home, and because it's double thickness, it ends up being a really sturdy journal. And then we'll take a second one just so I can show you. I'm actually going to leave my journal pages separate until I get some of the downloads and ephemera on them that I want, because I'm going to sew some of it on. So I'm not going to glue them together just yet. I'm going to keep them separate. So basically, you're just going to take some a glue stick or some double-sided tape, and you're going to tape those two back sides together. And then you'll continue taping all the back sides together. I'm going to use 8 or 9 pages, so I'll have 16 or 18 page journal. The binding is very basic. We'll use a piece of cardstock for the front and back cover, and we'll go over that as we go. My idea for this journal is just to do a fun, like summer is winding down. I want to do something with fireflies and just something whimsical and fun. I found these really nice watercolor firefly digital downloads on Etsy, and I have a few of them I'll show you, and I'm going to use these on some of the journal pages. They're very pretty. I will go ahead and rip the edges off of these and ink the inner edges and get these ready to go. I recently bought a pack of scrapbook paper, the 12 by 12s, and the colors are just beautiful. So I'm going to be using like these jewel colored papers with some neutrals and a little bit of the purpling mauve. That will go on like that. I will ink the edges, of course. I'm going to sew that on, so that's why I figured I would sew this on before I glue the backs together. And then not every page is going to get a download, digital download, but I'll put this on some of the pages because they're just so pretty. And put some other elements on there, maybe a little collage, or we'll see. So that is the general idea. I'm going to go ahead and do some of the basic, put some of these basic journal pages together, and then I will be back. I'm embossing a few elements for the journal, so I thought I would show you. I stamped, or die cut actually, these butterflies, the large Tim Holtz butterfly, a while ago. I just added a little gold splatter, and I want to emboss them. Some of you are not new to embossing, but some might be. So basically this is Distress embossing dabber clear, and we're just gonna dab on. This basically allows the embossing powder to stick to the surface, that's all. This is Judi Kins Clear Detail embossing powder, and just give a nice generous amount over the whole butterfly. None of this goes to waste. We just scoop it all back up and put it in. I muted this because the heat gun is really loud. So basically, you don't want to have it too close, maybe 1.5 inches away. Keep moving it so it doesn't blister the embossing powder. But as you can see, as the embossing powder melts, it just gets very shiny and it adds a nice texture. So there it is. How cool is that? Right? Beautiful. So because that's so large, I probably will cut that in half like that one and just kind of put it on a half a page, one of my journal pages. Hello. I wanted to show you what I have so far. And then I have a couple fun elements I wanted to work on. So basically I've folded all of my 8 envelopes in half, and I've just kind of worked out a little bit of a plan for some of the pages. Those are the watercolor Firefly pages I printed out, and what I did was I did some of the Tim Holtz Wildflower die cuts in white and some in the craft paper, and I think they look really nice on these. So I just wanted to kind of stick to, because the pages are so colorful, I thought that I would just stick to some neutrals, and I think it looks really pretty. So these are just so delicate and pretty. Aren't they great? So those will go on some of the pages in various places. Maybe I'll do some clusters. So what I mean, my goal with this project is to show you all how to do an envelope journal. But of course, I need to have a little fun too, and decorate a little bit. So yeah, I just kind of paper clipped them in because, so the interesting thing when you're doing an envelope journal, basically, you know, with a regular journal, the journal pages you can kind of move around and overlap, and this page and this page won't be next to each other because you'll have other pages in between them. But with an envelope journal, basically you got what you got. It's like that. So you kind of have to be a little bit more picky with what you're going to put on the pages. Not that they need to match, but so not every page is going to have, I did that today. I thought that was really fun. Just kind of ripped that in half. I added a little bit of lace here and some torn paper. And this side will just stay plain. I'll probably just put a little cluster or something there. So I just wanted to show you quickly what I'm up to. And done some sewing around the pages. That was a little decorative. Yeah. So this is fun. This, I'm going to do a, actually we could just do this right now, because this is one of the things I wanted to do. So I probably want to put something back here. Oh, I want to take a step back. And so I just said that basically it's just what's here. I'm going to, sorry, I have ink on my hands. I was just inking. I am going to add a few extra pages in these. I just can't take it. I have to have a little variation. I just can't have the 2 pages. So what I could do is either glue that or just sew it with a sewing machine right down that. And that's what I think I'll do, just to make that easy. I wanted a couple different variations of pages in some of these. So that actually might go in there. I kind of like that. That would get sewed on there, but that's an awfully boring background, isn't it? This may call for a little stenciling. Oh, love my frayed burlap. So I don't need to do the whole center portion, just top, bottom, and around. Let me see if it's not too late. I'd like to give that a little squirt. I like how that smeared right there. See that? Yeah, it's nice. Better. That's the thing about that frayed burlap. It just has so many cool tones to it. I just love it. Grays and taupes and, oh look, so much better. Oh right. It's actually, you can see the stripe through the inside, so I think I'm okay with that. Oh, before I go to the sewing machine, let's do this because this also may get sewed, so we might as well do two things at once. So I printed up this really cute picture of kids with some fireflies. You see that? Fireflies around them. And what I was thinking, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I want to use a CD cover. And actually this has to get stenciled too. We'll use a different stencil. So I found this round die cut that really is going to be perfect for that. And that will go inside here. I mean, I guess, well, Kathy, what are you thinking? That could actually just get cut square. Oh my goodness. Do I make things more complicated or what? Yeah, that does not need to be like that. Because I even had a little background because it wasn't going to cover the whole thing. But I mean, even though that gray would be nice back there, here's what we'll do. We'll cut it square first and see how we like it. Let's first see how it looks before I go through all that trouble. It might just be fine slipping it in there like that. That's just cute. All right, I guess we'll just leave it like that. I don't think we need to go through all that other aggravation because I'm going to do a simple mask for this because I don't want to get stencil oxide ink all over that cellophane. Another fave. Love this. Cute. Still quite light though, isn't it? We're going to take some frayed burlap and just go over that. Then we'll give this another nice little spray. Let's see if maybe we can get, oh, much better. See if we can get some oxidation. I just want to see it. Ooh, really, it's a little aggressive with the drops. Okay, here we go. Hopefully I won't electrocute myself when I grab my, oh yeah. I like it already. Of course, we don't want our cellophane to shrivel up, so I gotta be careful. What am I doing? I have a nice mask here. Good grief. Wonderful. Happy. This is still a little wet. I want to let that dry before I try to glue that in there. I'm going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew around my bag, and I will be back. Let that continue drying. So I guess the only other thing that I don't like about this is that these two areas here, they're so boring. And I am trying to figure out what to do. Would we ever want to put this in here? Picture of our girls. I wasn't even thinking of that, to be quite honest. Oh, how cute is that? I've got this really cool die for, just makes the most gorgeous lace, this little die. Hold all these off. We're just getting a little cray now. We are going to glue those pieces on. Sometimes, you know, you just have to go for it. Because if you don't, it's just like, it could take days. I don't know if you can even tell those are fireflies in the background, but how great is that? I'm going to just go across here and here with the stitch. And I like not having the sides done. I like just that. That's going to go right on there. So I'm still, the only thing is I still don't like above and below. It really needs a little something. You know what? This sounds crazy, but I am going to take that pretty little lace die cut I had and use this beautiful, this was a gray envelope, and it's this really nice like textured paper. And I think, yeah, I just want to see how that looks. Oh my goodness, I think I'm in love. Wait till you see this. So a good friend of mine bought this for me when I started journaling. She said, Kathy, I think you could use this for the new thing you're doing. I don't even know where she got it. I'll have to ask her. But how gorgeous is that? Weed this out a little bit. Oh, this could take some time. Where's my little... Come on. And maybe this one I'll leave this on, and this should work a little better. This little tool, yeah, it's definitely better with it. Helps to get all those out, that little brush. But I had to take that off because I had to make 2 of them. And I didn't even think. Much easier. So let's cut that. And I like how it doesn't cut the back side because it knows you need a little border to use that, you know? So it leaves that back side whole. So now, let's see what we got here. This was completely unplanned, this page. Okay, so that needs to be a smidge smaller. So I think the best way to do this is to glue this on the back of the bag, which we're going to do right now. Have I told you guys that I really like gluing things down? Could you guess that? I think probably most of us crafters might say the same thing. I don't know. I just love it. Love, love, love. That might be weird, but we could have other fetishes that wouldn't be as, you know, harmless, right? That's what I always tell my husband. Could be a lot worse than crafting, right? No, he's a big supporter. He knows that I love this. Okay, I am ready to put this journal together. I've kind of gone through and put my pages where I wanted them. One thing I didn't show you is your front and back cover. So 8 envelopes, take an extra one, so you need a total of 9 envelopes for this, and take it and cut it right in half. And then just kind of glue that little seam right there. One is for the front, and one is for the back. All right. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get some sort of a nice heavy cardstock, and that will be my cover. I picked a piece of Tim Holtz fabric for the binding, so that is going to go on like this. I'm just showing you loosely, and then we're going to go over everything, of course, together once we get it all glued together. So that goes in between that top page and this, and that's basically holds the journals together once they're bound. So we'll go ahead and get this glued together. I'll do a couple pages with you, and then I will just do the rest off camera because you don't need to see me gluing stuff, that's for sure. So this simply just gets glued right on like that. I'm just gonna, as always, use my trifecta of double-sided tape, a little bit of the Yoo-hoo stick, and then usually I go around the edges with my art glitter glue just to get a good seal. So that's how we're gonna do this. Okay, looking good. So Now back to back, the next one will just go right on the back of that one. And when I do the front and back, I will put some clothespins or clamps or something on because you want to really make sure that that's on really well. So that's like the beginning of the binding, and then we'll just keep going. So I'm going to pause, finish this up, and then I shall return. Okay. Oh, I wanted to show you something. I finally got some designer fabric. If you saw my little journal that I made where I made my own designer fabric. So this was a pack of samples that are, 12 by 12. And they're just fantastic. I mean, I just love these. And I wanted a sample pack like this because, I wanted to see what I liked, but I'm going to be able to use these. They're just beautiful. Check these out. So I chose this one because I thought that went best with my journal colors. Love those. I just wanted to show that to you. This is all glued together. We have 16 pages. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It is really a great little journal. I added in those extra pieces like I told you because I just wanted to add in, I just wanted a little variation. But we'll do a flip through at the end. I did the half envelope here and the half on the back. So we have a couple different things we have to do now. One is, this is where you want to put your tie in. So I'm going to use this fabric ribbon. I just thought it was nice because I have some black elements on the front. Two ways you can do it. You can either go around the whole thing like that, or you can just put a little piece in the front if you feel like you can get enough. I think if you bring it back enough and glue it, you're going to be fine. You just need enough to tie. Because this is the way it looks. If you're going to do it that way and put it all the way through, the ribbon would go on first, and then this would go on the binding, and then this would go on the top. So that's what it would look like. And then let's flip it over. That would come out the other side. And it's just if it's, you don't want it to be too bulky. That will go on there. So then your tie would be all the way through, which is, it's kind of nice. It might make it a little bit more bulky, but you don't have to worry about that tie pulling out. I've done it both ways. My tie did not pull out when I just glued it by itself. And I think I might do that because, who's going to be yanking on those things really, right? And if you put it far enough back. Let's just go ahead. I'm going to cut 2 lengths of that. Okay, so this I really wanted to be over the spine. So I know it's kind of cut weirdly, but let's just see how difficult that will be. Or not difficult, I just want to make sure I have enough to tuck in on the other side. So let's go ahead and glue this side first. And I'm not using fabric glue for this because this is going to be under paper. I'm not worried about that. I think what I'll do, this is the back of the journal since I've got wet glue on there. I'm going to go ahead and just put my back piece on right now. So this is where I will put some clothespins on just to help get a really good seal with that. So I did not glue over the back, if you noticed that. Okay, so we're just going to glue same process here. Okay, here we go. Oop, 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 oop. This is what happens when you work during the day and come home and make journals and YouTube videos. Oh. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Oh, right. What am I thinking? We almost forgot about, we had a whole layer there. of fabric that needed to be glued. Okay, now I think we're looking pretty good. Guys, I think I am going to just turn this up like that and put a heavy book on there. So I'm going to say adios for tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. We're going to get this done. This came out great. I actually ended up putting books on both sides. I'll show you what I did. I took the back and I took the front, and I just sandwiched books on both sides like that. It's really good. See, that's the binding. So that needs to be loose so that can open up. And the nice thing about this is it opens right up like that and lays flat. I fussy cut some of these watercolor fireflies and just backed them with a little bit of black, and I'm gonna put them on the front. I'm gonna cut them a little bit, but I wanted the background to be a little bit more interesting than that. So what I'm going to do is just do a little stenciling on here. So we're just going to do a couple different colors. I'm going to use Forest Moss, Uncharted Mariner, and Vintage Photo, and just kind of do like a little ombre effect. I actually practiced on something, you can kind of see that. So I don't want this to be real heavy, so I'm going to just offset a little bit there. Even though I love that paper, it just needed a little something. This bottom blue is still a little bit too blue for me. I'm gonna just let that set for a sec. And the rippling is already drying and going back down, so that's good. I just think that added a little bit of richness too. It looks nice. While that's drying, let's just do the same thing to the back. Oh, good. Just, I think that's subtle but nice. And see how it kind of ties in my binding too. I like that. I've got this really cool thing I found online. It's just a little saying about fireflies. Ready for it? I'm going to read it to you. So it says, in the tapestry of the night, there exists a spectacle that captivates the hearts and minds of all who behold it. It is a dance of light, a symphony of luminescence that paints the darkness with ethereal beauty. This spectacle is none other than the enchanting display of fireflies. Isn't that cool? I love that. I think it's unknown author. I'll see if I can find the author, but I just thought that was amazing. So that basically is going to go in the middle. I bought this glitter to kind of simulate firefly, so I'm going to try to do a little trail of this on there, which I thought if I can pull that off, that's going to be like super nice, but we'll see. I don't want it to look tacky either. But we're going to give it a try. Sometimes you just have to take a risk, right? I mean, how are you going to know? So while I'm doing this, I was going to tell you this cool story. A good friend of mine and I were coming back from this vintage show once. We were driving, taking these back roads. It was just a beautiful summer night. And we're talking and laughing, and I slowed the car down because I saw this crazy thing. It was this whole field. You know, we were up in the rural part of the county up here. And I'm like, what is that? And I slowed down, and all we saw was like this. Like, we thought someone was having a party way out in the field, because it was just like this, looked like Christmas lights or something out there. And I stopped the car and we got out, and I am not exaggerating. It was a field of fireflies. I've never seen anything like it. I think we were probably there for 20 minutes, just in awe. And I actually got some video coverage of it, and I tried to find it because I thought, how cool would that be if I could have, you know, uploaded that little piece, but I couldn't find it. I mean, this was probably 7 years ago this happened, but I've never seen anything like it since. I don't know if it was the time of year or what was happening, but it was quite a spectacle. Okay, those are looking pretty good now. So I just took a little bit of frayed burlap speckled egg and some amber fossil and took these white die cut wildflowers and just gave them a little color because I think those will look nice in the background. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue those on real quick, and then we are going to emboss some of the I keep wanting to call them dragonflies, but the firefly wings, and then get this wrapped up. Keep saying that, don't I? And then we'll get it wrapped up someday. I just put these gloves on because I didn't want to get stain all over my hands. I kind of placed those where I wanted him, so I clipped his wings. Poor little guy. We are going to emboss just a few areas of their wings. I might as well do one color at a time. I think that makes most sense. We can move this out of the way for a minute so we have more room. So I have these two pens. They're called Ranger, perfect medium. So they're for, you know, like exactly what I'm doing if you want to pinpoint an area with embossing. It's just got a nice point. So one is a brush and one is a bullet. So they've got different tips. So let's see. I have this really pretty luminescent blue. I've only used it once. So we'll go ahead and put some of that on there. This is like the perfect thing for it. Okay, I did this off camera just to speed things up. So I embossed little areas on the fireflies with some vintage photo. This is called Cosmic Shimmer Embossing Powder, and it's marine sea luster and a little speckled egg. And I think they're nice. I'm happy the way they came out, just to give a little shimmer to those wings. And then I used some gold on the tail. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is just a little die cut that I've had for a while. I'm going to go ahead and get this glued on, and then we're going to do our little trail of shimmer to look like fireflies, and we will see how that goes. Okay, I'm going to put this on next, and I'm going to bring that right to the edge. I decided when you have decorative stitching like that, it's always kind of like, do I want to bring that to the edge or to the edge of the stitching? But I just want to bring it to the edge. This makes everything more simple. Looks good. Good so far. Oh, as I'm doing this, I was going to tell you that I decided to finish the inside on my next video. I thought that would be fun, and this is just way too long. So we'll do another video, and at that video, I am going to do a little freebie for you guys because I remembered when I did this project. I want to see if this goes under or over. Just a minute. Goes under, so I can go ahead and put that on right there. When I did the small envelope journal project that I showed you in the beginning, this one right here, that was cute. That's a regular size letter envelope, by the way, folded in half. I remembered that not only did I make a few for friends, but I did a workshop with it. And it got me thinking today that why don't I do a freebie digital download for you. So what I did for these ladies, because we only had a few hours in an afternoon together, is I cut several different little packets of digital downloads that would go on that envelope journal. They were the exact size. Most of them were just 8.5 by 11, and they had to sit and cut them themselves, but they were the correct size. So I have some of those on file, and people loved the project. So they took their envelopes and we demonstrated, went through the whole thing. So I will do that for you guys for a freebie. And if I can get my hands on it before this end of the video, I'll show you. I have a little packet of, I had a couple left over. I thought that would be fun. And then you all can just print that out, get some regular letter size envelopes, and make one of those small journals just to get started, because I don't know that you're going to be going out and buying resume envelopes like this. This was like a fluke that I found that was at a secondhand shop. So that's going to overlap a little bit. So this goes on next. See, this is a stander-upper. I've got to stand up so that gets on there correctly. And then one last one, this little guy. Just showing a little bit of that wing on there. I'm going to show you quickly what I did with this. I don't know if you can tell. It has a very dull shimmer. This is what I wanted to show you. I used on here. I didn't want to do clear embossing powder because I thought it would be too glossy. So I have this Distress Glaze. It's kind of like, almost like a wax. Just put it on with your finger and kind of work it in, and then take a paper towel or a lint-free cloth and just kind of buff it. It just gives it a really nice buttery feel and like a very dull shimmer. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to kind of finish that off a little bit. And I actually think the text became a little bit clear with that. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So this is really looking nice. I had done 2 of these, but I didn't need one down here because I decided to do the flowers. Last thing, and I have to say I'm going to do this with fear and trepidation because I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to wreck this. But I'm going to just go for it because it is the theme. You know what I'll do? I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll just do one little area. And then so if it's too much, then I won't do any more. Because I think once you put this on, there's no turning back. So what my idea was to put a little like trail of glitter to kind of look like fireflies. So like up here, like just kind of following him, I just kind of watered down some glue. So we'll just do a little thing first. So of course I'll put more on than I need, and then it will brush off. This is kind of cool glitter because it's got some little tiny things with it too. Oh, see, it's beading up where that embossing glaze, the glaze is, because it's kind of like wax. So that may or may not work, but not a big deal. So as you can see, Kathy just went for it. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit. So this is going to dry. And then I will be back. We'll do a little preliminary flip through, even though it's not done. And see what we got. Okay. I think that is nice. I like this, right? At least I don't think it takes away from it. Whether it looks like fireflies or not, it kind of looks like the little glittering tail of a firefly, right? Then little shimmer of light after they've flown away. This was a fun journal to make. Let's go ahead and just do a quick flip through. Just a quick. So again, 8 pages, 8 envelopes, and 9 because you have to split one in half for the front and back. Again, I think this might be great to put photos in if you wanted to do a little memory of your summer, little tuck spot there. One thing I didn't do, it kind of slipped my mind, that I was going to show you is on my original one, I left some openings in the top for, you just don't glue the top. When you glue the back sides together, just glue the bottom, just like you're making a pocket, and leave the top. So I think I did it in 3 of them. And we could have done that. And then you can have a little, you know, stick something in there, whatever. So I could have actually done that in that large journal, and that would have been a nice big space actually to put stuff. So yeah, just on a few of them, just leave the top slit open. And I didn't say, this was actually inspired by Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, and it was inspired from her, from someone else too, and I can't remember. I just can't keep track, you know. But it's nice to give credit to people. So definitely I got that little project from Barbara, and I've had a lot of fun with that. So I definitely will, when I come back to do the next video where we'll do a few of these pages, because I had something really fun planned. I'll show you. I made these really cute little canning jars with fireflies in them. How cute are they? We'll do that in the next one. And I was just gonna, I don't know, put them in here and maybe do like a little rope of them. Something like that, you know, across the page. But I thought that was fun because that's what I remember from my childhood. My mother would give us like a canning jar, and we would go outside and we would catch them. And then, of course, you know, you could just put them on the picnic table or something and watch them fly around in there and then let them go. It was just so much fun. So I wanted to show those to you. So I've got a cute little elements that I was going to put in here when it was done. But this is like an hour long now, so we have to wrap it up. But thank you for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my channel, just to give the YouTube algorithm some information that I'm giving you good content, and it'll help my channel grow. Thanks for being here, guys. Again, I appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted. And yeah, take care. Bye.